And we are live. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our last session of the Caribbean Agri-Food Investment Showcase, Opportunities Showcase. And I'm here with Dr. Ali, who is talking to us from Trinidad and Tobago, and who will be talking to us about the Caribbean Poultry Association. Dr. Ali, thank you so much for your time and for participation in this showcase. Are very eager to hear what you have to say, and whenever you want, the floor is yours. You can tell us a little bit about the Caribbean Poultry Association and everything that you do and how you got started. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Leo. Let me thank Axel Events for inviting the Caribbean Poultry Association and myself to participate in this event. I want to thank John for calling me on Friday and extending the invitation to me. So let me start off by giving you a little peek into the Caribbean Poultry Association, because some of you do know about us, many of you probably do not. The Caribbean Poultry Association was started in 1999, February 1999, at a meeting that we had in Atlanta. The members of our association attend the International Poultry Exposition in Atlanta every year. And we started the association back in 1999. So we were 24 years, coming on to 25 years in existence. At the moment, we have 22 active members. And by active, I mean members who pay their fees, members who have votes at meetings, and members who regularly attend our meetings, our symposium, and that kind of thing. Our association really represents the CARICOM area of the Caribbean. We extend from Belize in Central America all the way to Suriname in South America and almost everything in between. So the major members of the association are in Belize, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Those are where the major members are. We represent companies who are in poultry meat. We represent companies who are producers of table eggs. And we also represent companies who are producing animal feeds, mainly poultry feeds, within the region. When we look at the members of the poultry industry who are actually in the poultry meat and table egg business, we are both integrated, partially integrated, and non-integrated. So they are integrated companies along the models of the US in all of the islands, and we have companies that are only partially integrated and companies that are not integrated at all. And our companies that produce poultry meat vary from a few 100,000 birds a week to a couple of million birds a week. So, it's a wide range of production capacities we have within the region. The companies and the Caribbean Poultry Association produce around about 282 to 285,000 metric tons of poultry meat a year. And we produce about 130 million dozen eggs per annum. Our consumption of poultry meat is high, ranges from between 38 to 42 kilograms poultry meat per year. And our consumption of eggs is relatively small, varying from 80 to 110 eggs per person per year. So when you compare that, for instance, with Mexico, which is about 365, and China, which is about 400, we have a long way to go in terms of the consumption of eggs. The main role of the Caribbean Poultry Association is in advocacy, in training, and increasing the competitiveness of our industry. And I must mention to those of you listening to me that our industry does have state-of-the-art technology in our processes and production areas. In fact, we are a very dynamic sector. There's always something happening in the poultry industry, some new thing happening, new technology being put in. For instance, 2 years ago, one of the large companies in Trinidad and Tobago installed perhaps the largest state-of-the-art hatchery in the Caribbean, and that's in operation right now. And one of our members in Jamaica is right now putting in a a new poultry processing plant that does cold air processing instead of immersion technology. So we do have a range of technologies amongst our members in the region. We run on a rotational basis. And what I mean by that is that our president rotates amongst all of the major islands. The events we hold rotate amongst the islands. And we try to encourage all of the members of the Caribbean Poultry Association to play a major role in the association. We do that by involving them in everything we do. This year, for instance, until January of 2024, our president is from Jamaica. He is the CEO of Caribbean Broilers, and then after that, the presidency rotates again. So that's the way we run the association. And for the time being, I happen to be chief cook and bottle washer in the association. You know, I try to do as much as I can. In terms of competitiveness, we run a number of training schools over the years. And when I started as the CEO in 2008, I started an annual technical symposium. We've had 6 so far. The pandemic interfered with us. And the last one we had is in 2019 in Guyana. We invite speakers from around the world to talk about new developments in the industry, so that our members can be made aware of what those new developments are and contact those people to get information on those things. So we play a very major role in information dissemination. And also right now we are doing a major project, and I'm hoping to involve Juan from FAO in this project. We're looking at measuring the metrics of the impacts of the poultry industry on the socio-economic development of the Caribbean. I should mention that the poultry industry, or the poultry sector, provides round about 80% of the animal protein requirements of people of the Caribbean. Things like fish and lamb are quite small, actually. So we are an important part of the nutrition of Caribbean people. There are people who visit Caribbean as well, obviously. A little country.
We love our chicken.
We all love chicken, exactly.
We all love our chicken, that's for sure.
A little country like Barbados, for instance, major producer, small population, but huge impact because of the number of visitors who go to Barbados. So when I think about where the new opportunities lie,
Exactly.
we have been thinking about this ourselves, and there are a number of areas. First of all, I'm looking at the table egg industry. As I mentioned, our consumption of table eggs is relatively small, somewhere between 80, depending on which country you visit, 80 to 110 table eggs per person per year. So in terms of the international context, that's quite small. So I would like to see, for instance, that figure raised from where it is around about 100 to 150 to 200, and maybe even beyond that, because poultry meat, egg protein is an extremely complete protein for human nutrition and human nutritional needs. I must mention here as well, Haiti. Haiti is a member of CARICOM. We in the Caribbean Poultry Association, and I in particular, played a role in development of the industry, the redevelopment of the industry in Haiti beginning in 2011. Mm-hmm. Haitians still import a lot of poultry, mainly from the US, and a lot of table eggs, mainly from Dominican Republic. So there's a great opportunity there for the expansion of the industry in Haiti. I should mention also that one of our major members from Jamaica does have significant investments in the US in the poultry industry. In fact, I think they are probably the 3rd largest producer of hatching eggs in the US, and they supply a lot of those hatching eggs to the Caribbean industry. So let me talk about where I see the opportunities. First of all, as I mentioned, there's a significant opportunity in table eggs, including the processing of table eggs. We are large users of dried eggs and pasteurized eggs and liquid eggs and that kind of thing. There's one small producer in Jamaica that produces further processed table egg products, but they're quite a small industry. So there's a significant opportunity within the region, not only for the expansion of the table egg industry, for the use of table eggs as eggs, but also for the use of table eggs in processing and supplying the needs of bakeries and ice cream manufacturers and the food manufacturing sector and that kind of thing. So I think that's one of the major opportunities I see within the region. The second large opportunity I see is the back end of the supply chain. We, at the moment, import much of our grain, practically all of it, grain and proteins and fats and premixes from countries around the world, the US, Canada, European countries, Brazil, Argentina. I think there's a major opportunity there. Belize is an interesting situation, and it's unique in the Caribbean. The Belizeans have an industry which is almost fully integrated. They have their own parent flocks, they produce their own hatching eggs, they produce their own corn. In fact, they export corn to Guatemala and southern Mexico. They produce soybeans, they produce coconut meal, and they produce poultry meat and table eggs. So there's a unique situation, but it's a situation that can be replicated across the Caribbean. At the moment, we are, as a result
Dr.
of...
We're going to be mindful on time, and apologies for the interruption, but we only have 3 more minutes left on this session. If we were going to then highlight the investment opportunities in the poultry sector, what we're looking at is through the Caribbean Poultry Association, what would be the main driver and what is the monetization? What is the ROI expected on that investment? And if you can keep it quite short, because we will need to finalize, and we do have 2 questions from the audience. So I just want to...
Okay, I think the real opportunities lie in improving the back end of the industry, as I mentioned. I think production of grains, proteins, perhaps fats, and premixes. I think there's a significant opportunity there. We've started some of that in Guyana. That's happening already. We've gone from 100 acres to 1,000 acres of soybean and corn. So that's already happening. I think the other area is in the production of hatching eggs. Parent flocks. We used to do that in Trinidad. We no longer do it because of the rapid increase of urbanization and lack of biosecurity. I think that's the second area. The third area, I think, would be to expand our further processing opportunities.
Poultry processing.
Poultry meats and poultry and eggs as well. And I think
and on that note, I think we have just to weave in a question from the audience. Where could somebody find information to start a processing plant as the best, and what is the best place to buy equipment?
To buy equipment? Sorry.
Yes, so the question is, where could someone find information to start a processing plant, such as what is the best place to buy equipment?
Would that be for meat processing or egg processing?
Probably poultry and the meat.
You see, there are 2 different aspects of the industry. Poultry meat and poultry eggs are significantly different. But if you're talking about poultry meat, we have equipment here from the US. And a lot of equipment in the region also comes from Holland and the Netherlands.
Understood.
So those are the main sources.
Okay. So I guess, and then they can reach out to you for more information, because the Caribbean Poultry Association is quite a good resource. And then brings me to the second question from the audience. Which countries are members of the Caribbean Poultry Association? Are the members only chicken farmers or other poultry like ducks, quails, etc.? No,
we are limited to poultry, which are Gallus domesticus. So we represent eggs and poultry meat. We have no quail. I don't think there's any quail production in the Caribbean as far as I know. A few duck producers, but they're not members of the CPA as yet.
Okay, so mostly chicken.
Chicken, yeah. And animal feeds as well.
Understood. Okay. Well, Dr. Ali, we are coming up on time. We really want to thank you for this great presentation and giving us. You've taken us from the micro to the micro in terms of the poultry industry in the Caribbean, and highlighted the opportunities for us. Everybody, this brings us to the end of our showcase. Please stay tuned for the closing remarks, and thank you all for your questions, your participation, and to all of the speakers. We really appreciate your time and sharing with us your ideas and opportunities. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the closing remarks. Thank you
Thank you.
all.
Thank you, Leo.